has a dream. For some, it may be to be an athlete, and for others, it may be to be a famous musician. But for Amy Purdy, it was to travel the world and become a snowboarder. This speech was given on November 2011 at TED. It describes Amy Purdy's life and an event that changed her life forever. If your life was a book and you were the author, how would you want your story to go? That's the question that changed my life forever. Growing up in the hot Las Vegas desert, all I ever wanted was to be free. I would daydream about traveling the world, living in a place where it would snow, and I would picture the stories that I would go on to tell. At the age of 19, the day after I graduated high school, I moved to a place where it snowed and became a massage therapist. With this job, all I needed were my hands and my massage table, and I could do anything. For the first time in my life, I felt free, independent, and completely in control of my life. That is, until my life took a detour. I went home from work early one day with what I thought was the flu, and less than 24 hours later, I was in the hospital on life support with less than a 2% chance of living. Later, as I lay in a coma, the doctors diagnosed me with bacterial meningitis, a vaccine-preventable blood infection. Over the course of 2.5 months, I lost my spleen, my kidneys, the hearing in my left ear, and both of my legs below the knee. As my parents wheeled me out of the hospital, I felt like I had been pieced back together like a patchwork doll. I thought the worst was over, until I saw my new legs for the first time. They were big blocks of metal with pipes bolted together and a yellow rubber foot with a raised line from the ankle to the toe to look like a vein. I didn't know what to expect, but I was not expecting that. With my mom by my side and tears streaming down our faces, I strapped on these chunky legs and stood up. They were so painful and confining that all I could think was, how was I ever going to live the life full of adventure? How was I ever going to travel the world in these things? And how was I ever going to snowboard again? That day, I went home and crawled into my bed, and this is what my life looked like for the next few months. Me, passed out, escaping from reality with my legs resting by my side. But I knew that in order to move forward, I would have to learn to let go of the old Amy and embrace the new Amy. And that's when it dawned on me that I didn't have to be 5'5" anymore. I could be as tall as I wanted. And if I ever snowboarded again, my feet aren't going to get cold. And best of all, I could buy every shoe on the sales rack. And that's what I did. So there were benefits here. And then I remembered that life-defining question. If my life was a book and I were the author, how would I want my story to go? And then I could picture myself helping others through my journey of snowboarding again. And I didn't just feel myself carving down a powder of mountain. I could actually see myself, the wind blowing against my face, and the beat of my racing heart. At that very moment, I knew that a new chapter in my life had began. 4 months later, I was back up on my snowboard, although things didn't go quite as expected. At one point, I traumatized all the snowboarders on the ski lift when my knees wouldn't bend at the right time, and my legs, still attached to my snowboard, went flying down the mountain, and I was on top of the mountain still. I was so shocked. I was as shocked as everybody else. But I knew that if I could find the right pair of feet, that I could do this again. And that's when I realized that our borders and our obstacles can only do two things. One, stop us in our tracks. or two, force us to get creative. Thank you.